I think these are all certain queries we received specific to occupational safety. Now we move on to social security. The first question is on fixed term employees. Under social security code, 5 years of service condition not required for FTE, and minimum service of 1 year, it is also not mentioned. Whereas in the IR code, minimum 1 year service condition is mentioned for fixed term employee. Which one we have to consider? And if any FTE worked for more than 6 months and less than 1 year, whether he is eligible or not. See, I think this does not make any difference, right? Whether it is 1 year or the code is silent about the period, the length of the period. Still, I think the position will be same, because for a person to become eligible for payment of gratuity, see, at least 1 year service is required. Otherwise, we cannot do the calculation at all. Right. The question may arise technically as to what is 1 year, what constitutes 1 year. That's a different story, right? So maybe we can say if we go through the current section 2 capital A of the Payment of Gratuity Act, which defines the term continuous service. So if a person has worked for 240 days in a continuous period of 12 months, then this person is deemed to have completed 1 year. Right. So that is a technical point, right? Otherwise, I think irrespective of whether the minimum service is mentioned for the FTE or not, I think that does not make any change, right? That is number one. I would say again, if a person has completed 240 days in a continuous period of 12 months, then that person is deemed to have completed 1 year of service, so that FTE may become eligible for payment of gratuity. That is the answer for the first part of this question. The second part discusses about whoever has rendered between a service of between 6 months and 1 year, right? No, if a person has just completed 6 months or whatever period less than 8 months, that would not be treated as 1 year service. It is not possible. If the person has completed at least 240 days, only then he can claim that he has completed 1 year of service. Only then he will become eligible for payment of gratuity. Otherwise, we cannot calculate at all. If it is less than 8 months, then if it is less than 1 year, then I think we cannot calculate at all. So at least minimum 1 year is required, whether it is specifically mentioned or not. In addition, if you go through the draft rules of the Social Security, there they have mentioned 1 year. Right. In the code, yes, you are the. I'm not very sure who is the querist, but in the Social Security code it is not mentioned. But IR code it is mentioned. But in the rules, draft rules framed under Social Security, the 1 year is mentioned. So this question is clearly addressed now. Now, in case of a crèche facility, if I allow my employees to work from home, will I still need to provide the facility to abide by the law? Yes, we may have to provide that, right? So, see, allowing a person to work from home is a choice, right? So the decision will be taken by the management's concern, irrespective of whether you are asking your employees to come to your premises or you are allowing them to operate from home. Still, yes, it is a mandate on the managements, the employers, to provide crèche if they are otherwise, or to provide crèche, right? So the simple point is, if they have 50 or more employees, then yes, they need to provide a crèche. So irrespective of whether they are people or employees are working from home or coming to the premises, yes, this is to be provided. Is there any change in maternal? I think this is a very open question. So see, the crux is the same. I think they are 26 weeks. I think that is to be given. Medical bonus, it is to be given. And apart from 26 weeks, if there is some illness connected to pregnancy, then 1 more month is to be given. The same provision that continues, in fact. But only with respect to crèche, I think some clarity is given. There is a doubt currently if the ESA Act is applicable, whether that establishment needs to provide a crèche, right? That is clear. Irrespective of whether the ESA Act is applicable or not, the establishment has to provide crèche if they have 50 or more employees. That clarity is given. So I think otherwise, I think almost all other provisions remain the same. And is providing a crèche mandatory or tie up with a nearby crèche facility is sufficient? I think the Act does not talk about specifically tie up with others. It says that the management has to provide crèche if it is otherwise obligatory on the part of the management. But in practice and to keep up the spirit, this is permitted actually. Even they say that even for more than one establishments can join together if they are operating in the same locality. They can have a common crèche also, but again the distance and all we may have to check. I think it should be less than half a kilometer at least, so that see the woman employee should be in a position to commute to that place. I think we all know that she should be allowed to go to the crèche at least 2 times in a day, apart from the other breaks for which she is entitled. So that those things are to be ensured. Otherwise, it is so we can have a common crèche also for more than one establishment. So in which case, yes, the tie-up is possible. Indirectly, that is the point.